What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got the whole crew here today. We got Sean Bedlam, Devil John, and the man King Kojo Johnson on the phone. Colin, how you doing, man?
Fantastic, guys. What's going on up there in Easton?
It's hot.
It's hot
Yeah,
and sticky,
hot.
man.
Might
Hot
not
and
be able to
sticky.
tell on the video, but it is hot up here. But
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. But you know what? It just lets us know that summer's on its way.
That's not,
You
I don't
know,
really consider that a
and-
good thing.
and-
But then after summer comes fall.
Yeah, and then
And
that
fall comes
means
football.
football is that
football
much closer,
is
gentlemen.
football is only a few months away, people.
Yeah, so
I'm already starting to think about my fantasy drafts.
Oh,
Oh,
Colin,
well-
we got to get a couple mock drafts in the next couple days. I want to say.
Yeah,
we
we'll
do,
see.
there's a way we can do
You're
it
right.
online or something. In fact,
I'm ready.
In fact, all of us should do it because I know the Voice of Bedlam is going to be doing our fantasy football.
And we're also
draft
gonna do the
this-
Madden
this
team,
coming
so-
this coming season
At Mother's.
at
Mother. So, well, since we're talking about football, why don't we get right into football with our signature segment that everyone needs to know, the Daily Breakdown. Daily Breakdown!
All right, what's first on the docket today, John?
Well, first, before we, go crazy, I thought I woke up in deja vu because Brady is appealing, all right? And he's motioning for an en banc for his suspension. And quite honestly, he needs to just stop this shenanigans, really. It's just really that's what it is. And it's just like the guys in Super Trooper say, they're evil shenanigans.
So,
Tom Brady, your head is too big. Just take your suspension and be done with it.
Just be done with it.
Just
Yes,
be
indeed.
done with it.
So basically, last month, the Second Circuit Court, United States Second Circuit Court of Appeals, said that the NFL and Roger Goodell in no way violated the fundamental fairness against Brady. That they
Wow.
didn't mistreat him, basically.
Yeah.
So Brady has now appealed their decision, and they're seeing if the 13 judges will review the whole case. The whole panel. That's what they're motioning for now.
It's a quite ridiculous waste of money and time for these judges to see this case, because quite honestly, it's whatever. Take your suspension, sit down for 4 games. It's whatever.
Now, the NFLPA executive director Smith was quoted as saying, Brady knows he didn't do anything wrong. He knows that it was the commissioner who made things up as he went along. Now, this is what I want to sit here and talk about first. You know what? The commissioner kind of did make things up. Not really, but as far as it goes with punishing him, but the NFLPA gave Goodell all the power they're saying he now abuses when they negotiated the last CBA. And that's why when they went to the Second Circuit of a Court of Appeals, that's all it really is. They're not saying if Brady deflated footballs or not. They're saying if his rights were violated in the way the NFL conducted the investigation. Now, everybody thinks it's wrong that Roger Goodell is judge, jury, and executioner, but the PA gave him that right.
Well, here you go. Here's the thing. Just an example from my job field, okay? Now, let's say there's an incident that occurs, okay? You are put out on suspension, all right, without pay until that investigation is complete. And then if you are found,
No, you got to be surprised with pay, though, right?
only if it comes back unfounded or that you didn't do what you were accused of. So if you were founded of what you did was wrong, then yeah, you don't get any of that back pay. So honestly, stop crying, dude. There's like people out there with the same type of situation as what I just described as their disciplinary action. You can't, so this whole thing with, it kind of, makes us look as Americans exactly how the, Europe and all these other countries look at us, how we're sue happy. It's like, hey, you didn't make my cheeseburger the way I wanted it. I'm going to sue you.
See, now, I'm kind of torn on what you're saying there because I did an article on this in our new website, avoiceofbedlam.com. Make sure you guys go over there.
Go
We're
check it out.
cranking out the articles. Sam the Brit, Sam Stocks over there in the UK, he's cranking
Yeah.
out some
Yes.
articles. But basically, in the last sentence of my article, I said, perhaps forcing America's tax dollars to pay even more to have the country's highest seated court hear this matter. I kind of got ahead of myself
Well,
here.
all of
But
our
hold on,
tax
hold on.
dollars pay for the military
Yeah.
to go bomb
No.
miscellaneous country
But wait, let's stay on topic. I went out of order here. But if Brady, if they deny him this motion, he could then try and take it to the Supreme Court, and that's what I start talking about. And I was debating about calling it an arbitrary matter because
Yeah.
it's football. But if you think about it, this isn't about football necessarily. This is about labor laws. And as much as ridiculous as I think that the NFL players are really unionized, I mean, they're millionaires. Like, I think that's a joke. But
Yeah, I hear
they
you.
are in a union, and they are labor laws, and that's what they're doing. The reason why Richard M. Berman ruled in favor of Brady out of New York was because they said he wasn't given the proper notice to know that he could be punished this way.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there are things that fall like that. So they're basically checking the CBA. And, a lot of the country's workforce is built around things like that. So it is not really that arbitrary. We look at it like it is because it's about football, but it's really about labor laws, and that's very important.
Honestly, if that
what?
was the case, then they should have founded that in the first time when all these judges, first saw and overturned his appeal the first time.
My question is,
That it should have been addressed then.
Do you mean with Richard M. Berman, or do you mean with the Second Circuit?
With the I think Berman, yeah.
The
Yes,
very
the
first
very
time
first time
they
they
went
went
to
to
court.
court
That's
about
Richard M.
it,
Berman.
yeah.
Well, he said Brady was innocent. Like he ruled not innocent, but he ruled in favor of Brady.
my question is, how much is this actually about Tom Brady, the person, and whether or not his rights as an NFL employee are violated, or whether or not this is about Tom Brady, the millionaire quarterback with a big head, married
It's
to
absolutely that.
married to a supermodel who doesn't want to lose his coin and wants to stay out there on the field and drag
us
this
not
out as long as
forget.
he possibly can. Con, go ahead.
I would just say I'd be very upset if the NFL is using this as an attack on Tom Brady. And
The man has his own rule.
But I am an Eagles fan who has had Tom Brady and Belichick allegedly cheat their way
I
into
hear
winning
you,
a championship
Con. I
against
totally
my
hear you.
team. But he
totally
has
hear you.
been wronged through this just because he was aware of what may or may not happen. At the end of this day, this entire conversation is about taking a little bit of air out of a football. And the entire roster probably knew that it was happening. Tom Brady told the deflator the way that he liked a football. The entire team likely knew about it. And just because Tom Brady's the one who throws said footballs, he's the one who needs to get punished. This thing's been going on for almost a year and a half. And frankly, I don't even care anymore. And frankly, I'm kind of rooting for Tom Brady over the NFL at this point. And it's something that I never thought I would say.
I mean, I said Tom Brady needs to take his suspension and he needs to just sit down because I'm sick of it. But at the same time, me as a person and Tom Brady as a fellow human being, him being an NFL employee, he does have a right to have his with the CBA in place. He does have certain rights, and if he feels that his rights if his rights were violated, then he has every right to speak his mind and appeal
Fight this.
and fight this. But at
Absolutely.
the same time, as and maybe this is coming from a place of hate for the Patriots, I just want Tom Brady to sit on the bench and just take his suspension so we can be done with this.
You know what I'm most afraid of is that him sitting 4 games is going to give Garoppolo all the warm-up he needs, and when Tom Brady finally decides to retire, Garoppolo's just going to step in and win 4 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and I just spend my remaining days in misery.
I think your neighbors have been smoking too much ganja outside your house, and
You don't believe in Jimmy
you're getting-
Garoppolo?
yeah, you believe in the
Yeah.
Garoppolo.
There's nothing Yeah, nobody believed
I'm-
in Tom Brady when he stepped in too, but it doesn't matter because Belichick's going to step down.
Honestly, for him to say that he's being disrespected in his workplace, he had a rule named after him. He's the only quarterback that I've ever personally saw grab a referee and have him throw a flag.
He definitely.
And then
I hear what you're saying. This is why. I mean, I think
he
Andrew,
can't go boo-hoo
now.
now.
Andrew said he was torn, and I totally. I hear where he's coming from with that because Tom Brady has special rights for being Tom Brady. There's no argument against that.
Now, if you guys are talking about the work,
quarterbacks in general are kind of treated like that.
Not all of them, and not unless you're Cam Newton.
Not when
you
you're
need
Tom
to
Brady.
be old enough to be getting that treatment.
The tuck rule, that 2000. What was it? 2000. Against the Raiders, 2002. Against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders, man. That was a terrible game. The Raiders got robbed, and
was it 2000 championship game, right?
It may have been 2001 because the Patriots won, and the Raiders made the Super Bowl in 2002.
That was Brady.
2002.
Yep.
So yeah,
no, but the Raiders didn't. The Raiders made the Super Bowl that year, so it wouldn't have been that year because Brady won that game. It may have been 2001.
It wasn't 2002. It was 2001.
Might be 2001.
Either way, like John's got a point. Like Brady has special privileges for being Tom Brady.
But
so I am kind of I want to hear Tom Brady's, his speech on how he thinks that he was wronged in all this. But at the same time, I want to tell Tom Brady to just shut up and sit on the bench.
As a worker, if I felt that I was wronged, I'm going to say it right away. I'm not going to wait until my back is completely pinned against the wall before I start speaking up. And right now, he's got his back pinned against the wall with a freaking hand on his throat.
You're totally right about that.
All right, and we have YouTube back.
All right.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? You kind of missed.
What's up?
Sorry, YouTube.
We've just been rambling on about Brady.
Yeah, man, you guys miss it. Sorry.
Yeah, but had some technical difficulties, but the audio's there. So basically, everybody on The Voice of Bedlam is completely against Tom Brady in every way.
Well, Colin says he's actually rooting for Tom Brady.
I'm kind of backing up Brady at the end. I'm kind of backing up Brady. I don't want the NFL to win. Take down the big man.
I hear what Colin is saying.
I have no respect for the man.
As a fellow union worker myself, like I hear.
You know what I'm saying? Though.
I know. Yes,
yeah,
that's what I'm. That's what I was just saying. Is like you said, you're torn. I get that because I want Tom Brady to be heard.
You know how the grievance process works.
But I also hear what John's saying because Tom Brady has special privileges because he's Tom Brady. So I don't know where I stand with this. So I'm gonna just say.
And not only that,
for now. I plead the fifth. I'm not going to say anything either way.
He's had a long enough time to think about this and think about all the angles that he can pull. If he felt that way, I'm sorry. If I feel wronged, I know that I'm being wronged, and I'm going to say something right away.
And you should.
He drug his feet for way too long, so now he gets to conspire with people to try to get himself off squeaky clean. And honestly, just serve your suspension.
Well, he's not going to get off squeaky clean because his reputation
no matter what.
After he retires, his reputation as a quarterback is going to be tarnished.
I think we honestly found the football's Pete Rose.
How?
Well, he's not going to get the lifetime ban.
It's gonna be a long time before he ever gets involved.
Polarizing wise, he's more like
a Barry Bonds than a Pete Rose.
Maybe.
That's a good comparison.
I'll go better with I'll go better. But Tom Brady's a first ballot Hall of Famer regardless.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. And unfortunate as that is.
All right, but let's take a second here and tell you guys, as an independent musician, there are many struggles, whether on the road or in the studio.
Man. Yeah, so at Breezy Insane LLC, they're going to aim to help support the independent musicians' lives and make it a lot easier, all right? They provide access to worldwide promotional services with the state-of-the-art marketing techniques that are going to boost your music to new audiences.
Yeah, they also provide a mass CD production for all their clients at no additional cost. If you're interested in amazing legal coverage, beauty
products.
Beauty products.
You need to keep yourself fresh when you're on the stage.
or roadside assistance, they have partner companies set up and ready to work with you. Focus on the music and let them take care of the challenges on the road.
So if
Now,
you're in a local
Google them,
band,
guys.
look them up.
Yeah, and it's Breezin'. Spell it out for him, John. What is
All
it
right,
here?
it's BREEZYNSANELLC.
Yeah, Google them and check them out if you're an independent musician or if you're on the road for any reason whatsoever.
They're gonna help you out.
We're going to keep things moving along with today's Daily Breakdown.
So Jalen Ramsey is he signed his contract.
Yeah, so just like last year, similar to Dante Fowler Jr., who got injured right before he signed the contract,
Ooh.
they gave Ramsey a contract over 4 years, $23.3 million with a 15.1 signing bonus. Now
That's
It's a
he
nice
did,
signing bonus.
he
Yeah.
did have surgery today, but they're saying this torn meniscus, no big deal. He might be ready in time for camp. After surgery, that's what they're saying.
Well, good for them if they can get him back in time. The Jaguars need him. They need him as their starting shutdown corner. There's no question about that.
Well, I mean, he's got to prove himself a little. I mean,
Yeah,
I know he was
yeah,
taken in
they-
the top 5, but he's a
Yeah,
rookie,
but as
so.
being taken in the top 5, they're going to expect him to be that starting
But
shutdown corner.
Honestly, I think they'll be all right. Even
I'm
depending
kinda
on
rooting
how he.
I'm kind of rooting
How
for
he
the
comes back.
Jaguars a little bit.
Yeah,
Not that I'm
they-
a Jaguars fan, but
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I'm
know
rooting
what
for
you
him a little bit.
Yeah, I would
I'm
like
like
to see
that
him
with
do
the
something.
Raiders.
Maybe then,
And
if they do
Houston.
well, maybe they'll change their ugly helmets.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, they only went to them, what, like 2-3 seasons ago? Things
Con,
were
you got anything
horrific.
on Jalen Ramsey?
I'm just curious. I was looking up other players who have torn their meniscus and what their timetable has been
But
for return.
that's
For
very
example,
wide, though.
Clowney tore his meniscus, missed 4 to 6 weeks back in September of 2014. And has Clowney ever been a player? I won't even say the same player. He hasn't
Yeah,
played
you're right.
well in the
Yeah,
NFL. It'd be
yeah.
interesting to
He hasn't
see
played
how
in the
Ramsey.
But not
NFL.
only that,
Exactly. Yeah,
compared
it's
to Ramsey,
really
he has
interesting.
a
It's
lot
going
of
to be a
extra
tough
weight
injury
on
to come
those
back.
joints.
That's a very good point. Very good point. It's definitely a different position with different demands.
But I mean, there's
And
different degrees of a tear and everything.
But not only that,
Very true.
the agility that the cornerback position is needed. Your knee at times gets bent in, awkward positions, and if that cleat takes into the ground, you're going down.
But
dude.
as a defensive lineman, Clowney, you need that same agility to be able to get around a tackle.
Yeah,
you
not
know
only
what I
that,
mean?
I feel like-
he needs to be able to push that weight as well, and not only that, that extra weight is going to put that extra stress on your joints. And I know a football player that played like semi-pro ball, and his knees are shot. And I was like, I think he's 36 now, 37.
Yeah, I mean, football, yeah, you get your knees destroyed. That's why so
And
many
he was a
players
center.
before when CTE was first heating up, they were saying, nah, they'd rather get hit high because they don't want somebody taking out their knees. Because when their knees get taken out, they lose money.
Oh yeah.
What it breaks down to be successful as a football player, you need to be big, you need to be fast, and you need to be strong. And your knees carry a lot of that weight. And if your knee gives out for whatever reason, you're gonna lose a lot of that.
Heck yeah.
Unless you're Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
that's a good point.
Then you
That's a good
like
point.
almost win the rushing.
He doesn't
He's a
give
he's a
a
freak.
rat's
though.
you know what
He's a
at
freak.
his knees.
He's
He's a freak
He
of
doesn't
nature.
make any sense.
And that's what a comeback player of the year is.
yeah.
All right, but let's talk about our sponsor, Angels Friendly Getaways. Now they got a great fundraiser going on.
Fundraisers.
Fun riser.
A great fundraiser.
They're fundraising a fundraiser,
Oh,
guys.
it's a lot of fun. There's
They're
fun.
rising on fun.
If you hang out with Angels Friendly Getaways, your fun.
Yeah,
is
well,
going
you're
to
gonna have a
rise.
lot of
Your
fun
fun
when you go
will
to
totally be on the
Mexico
rise.
on an all-inclusive getaway. And you know what? You have to go to angelsfriendlygetaways.com to sign up for this getaway. But not only are you gonna get a nice getaway
to Mexico.
to Mexico, you get to that proceeds are going to be raised for the Autism Speaks, and I already spoke about what it means to me. I know that somebody else in our panel
Oh no.
deals with IDD as well.
Oh, I don't really deal with it, but I mean, my brother-in-law is also, he's autistic, and they're really great kids and great people. So I mean, you can donate to them by just going on a vacation to Mexico. So if you want to get a little getaway and help some good people out, hit up angelsfriendlygetaways.com. Now, next up in the daily breakdown, the Browns have released wideout Brian Hartline.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't. I mean, now
Even
he
though that
compiled-
they are in desperate need of wide receivers
well, they
over there.
drafted. I got all the names.
Yeah,
they
say
drafted a
they
bunch.
drafted a lot.
Yeah.
4, right?
Because-
Is it
Wideout.
4 or
Yes.
5?
Yeah, because
is
going
it
into the
5?
season,
Is it
No, I
five?
think it's 4.
I think it was
with the free
4.
1,
agent.
2, 3,
4 with
4.
the free agent.
going into it
then
before the
So
draft,
they
only had
drafted
2
4
solid
and they
people that you
but they
knew.
signed a 5th one. Is that what happened?
I believe it goes down something like that. In the first round, they got Corey.
Point being,
Coleman.
they definitely took on a lot of wide receivers there in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
Andrew Hawkins is a veteran there, but they got Coleman in the first round. Then they got Lewis in the 4th round. They got Peyton in the 5th round, and they got Higgins also in the 5th round. They also have Terrell Pryor, converted
Terrell
quarterback.
Pryor, you remember
Now-
him?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Now,
do.
Hartline,
Old Raider.
he only got 523 yards on 46 receptions last year with 2 touchdowns.
He only played in 12 games, too. Was
That
he
was his
hurt?
only
I don't
year
even
in
remember.
Cleveland. I don't think so.
Probably,
Yeah.
but that's the reason why
cares?
we don't
You're in
hear about
Cleveland.
it.
Would you
'cause
guys
he's
remember
Brian
he was
Hartline.
actually kind of like he definitely wasn't a household name, but he was like in Miami. He was actually for a while before Jarvis Landry came into the picture. He was actually like kind of like their number
He showed
one.
flashes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm not surprised that he got released like we just said, but it kind of sucks for Brian Hartline. But I could see him getting another job somewhere. Someone out there is gonna need a number. He's probably gonna be like a number 3 or 4 at this point, but his
No.
services will probably be needed somewhere.
Only 29.
Yeah, I think his services. He could be a good. He's a good back end guy. You know, you might have to throw him on some special teams. You can have him. I mean, with all the 3 and 4 wides, like he'll get out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
He's definitely not like a big money.
No,
like
no.
what's gonna go on in Cleveland this year at all?
Well,
I mean, being
RG3's
this
got a
young-
lot of young guys to throw to.
But is that a good thing? I mean, you need
Well-
some veteran leadership. I mean, they like.
I
got
see
two.
RG3
Hawkins,
looking to
that's it?
Jordan, or no, I just almost said Jordan Reed like he was back there in Washington.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Wow.
Never mind.
That's all good. But you know what's all good?
Sorry.
Finding you a nice Brazilian woman or a nice Brazilian man. So the way you can do that is checking out the new dating site Brazilian and AmericanLove.com.
No, it's BrazilianAmericanLove.com.
No, shoot.
Go check him
All right,
out.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, you guys go
Yeah.
to BrazilianAmericanLove.com. Great new dating site connecting, local Americans with some Latina Brazilian beauties. So go ahead over there and check it out.
BrazilianAmericanLove.com.
There you go.
Do it.
All right, Ronnie Lott and Rodney Peete are trying to keep the Raiders in Oakland. According to the San Francisco Chronicles, Ronnie Lott, who was a safety with the Niners and Oakland, and Pete played with the Lions, the Eagles, and a brief time with the Raiders.
And the
They're-
Panthers.
Yeah, did he really?
Yes, he did.
They're leading a group of primarily African American investors, and they want to put in a bid to help build a Raiders stadium in Oakland. Along with Lott and Pete, there are some big names to some. There's some big money names in here. Nothing to do with the NFL, but some big money names in here. And Bill Duff, a sports agent, is also involved in this.
Bill Duffy.
Bill Duffy. They also want to put in the bid, but they're thinking that they're going to ask for a minority stake in the team, meaning that they would basically be buying into the team at a minority stake, so less than 50%. But they're looking to develop a 120-acre plot of land, which the Oakland Coliseum currently sits on. Is it too little, too late?
Not at all.
Ooh, okay, John.
Not at all.
I see. I think the
Because
opposite, but why?
the history of the franchise has been in 2 locations, Los Angeles and Oakland. They're a California team, and to take them out of California, it's gonna break a lot of that fan base's hearts, and they, I don't know if they're gonna do an exodus of fandom, but honestly, it's it's a little crazy to think about them going anywhere else. Yes, Vegas would be, the next possible home I could see for them because, they are the Raiders. They're known for being risky. They're known for, being kind of like the bad guys of the NFL in a sense, So when you go to Vegas, you're not going there to have tea and crimpets and, go sightseeing museums and things like that. You're going out there for debauchery because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
All right, now
Unless you tell.
we're gonna stick things. We're gonna keep on the Raiders here, but take a quick second and tell you guys about DirecTV. That's 855-668-9061. Call that number and get your full sports package set up today. Free installation. Ask them about the Sunday ticket. You might even be able to get it free depending on where you live. All right, so hit up DirecTV 855-668-9061. Sticking with the Raiders. All right, Derek Carr is predicting that Khalil Mack should shatter Michael Strahan's defensive sack record. All right, now when asked on Sirius XM radio if Mack could hit 20 sacks, Carr threw out an enormous number and said he could probably even get 30 if he just didn't get held all the time. I'm not kidding you. I go back and I watch him because me and him are close friends. So I go back and watch him, and those things, I'm not kidding you, this guy gets held more than anything I've ever seen in my life. Carr went on to say if he didn't get held, if all those things got called, he'd be hitting the quarterback at least 40 times. Now, in Mack's rookie year, he only got 4 sacks, but he played phenomenal still. I mean, but he had 15 sacks last year, including 10 in the last 6 weeks of the season, 5 coming in Week 13 against the Broncos. Now, as I said, Strahan currently has the record with 22.5 from 2001. What do you guys think about Carr's bold statements?
Honestly, I have to trust it was his opinion because most of the time he was on a football field. He was, on his back staring at clouds, stadium lights, and but all jokes aside, honestly, Khalil Mack is a monster, and I know because I watch those Raiders games because I've said it multiple times. I fly 2 flags, one AFC, one NFC. So to see the Raiders going back with strong defense again, it's reminiscent of those old days. And I know Mr. Nostalgia over here of the old school football. I want my quarterback to drop back in the pocket. I want people to hit hard.
Just like Tom Brady does. Yep. Just like Eli does. Just like Rodgers does. See, Rodgers, Luck, that's ideal for me. They're not statues, but they're definitely pocket passers. That would be my ideal quarterback in this day and age. That type of quarterback. I don't want Mariota, and I don't want, let's say, who's a
Kaepernick.
Russell Wilson.
Of course, I don't want Kaepernick or RG3.
Russell Wilson's
Russell
another
Wilson,
one.
what about him?
But Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. But let's not get too off topic here. I mean, Khalil Mack had a monster season last year. 22.5 sacks is going to be pretty hard to come by.
But
Well,
one
I
thing,
just-
though, go ahead, Colin. Go ahead. I think
I was just going to say, I don't think, and I know he had 5 sacks in the Broncos game, 16 sacks total, but do you guys think a linebacker will have enough opportunities to beat that record? Strahan was a defensive
He's a
end. He was
defensive
going
end.
That's
that direction.
Khalil Mack
He's
is
going to
a
have to drop
defensive
off in
end, and
coverage.
he doubles as a linebacker.
It's a 3-4. He's kind of a tweener, but that's okay in a 3-4.
Yeah.
There just might not be enough opportunities, and I
Well,
understand
see,
his
My
ability to get at the quarterback, but
See, I'm usually
Really?
on the same page with you here, but see, I think it's going to be easier to break Strahan's record because with all the passing in the league, you have more opportunities.
Yeah, most
Nobody's
definitely.
handing
Put
the
it in
ball
it-
off 30
Do
times.
the Raiders run a 3-4? Do they run a 4-3?
They run 3-4.
3-4.
So that's gonna make that's more of a run first defensive scheme. So
Yeah,
in
but
a
I'm saying in a
4-3, in
3-4.
a 4-3, he's gonna have more opportunities
But he
to
doesn't
sack
play
the
in a
quarterback.
4-3. I'm saying
But-
the reason
but-
why he
yeah,
can go
and what-
between linebacker and defensive
And
end
what
is 'cause
I'm
he's
saying
3-4.
is, if the Raiders played in a 4-3, he might have more of a definitely like accessible reach at that 22 and a
But
half.
don't think you can't get sacks out of the 3-4.
I'm not
LT
saying you.
played
I'm
in
not
the
saying.
3-4.
I'm not saying you
Yeah.
can't. But in a 4-3, that's a pass. That's a pass.
Yeah, I get what you're
Pass.
saying.
You know,
there.
passing
Yeah.
scheme defense. So it would make it easier for him to get those to reach that 22 and a half
If he was
pinnacle.
on a
If the Raiders were running a 4-3. But it's not.
I don't
I'm
think
not,
they'll make any defensive changes, though.
It's not.
But
It's
I
not
agree
out of
with
the
you,
realm of
Sean.
possibility, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Oh
saying
no,
that.
yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Yeah.
You know
But
what?
22 and a half sacks is a lot of sacks.
Heck yeah. And you know what? You know what else is going on? That's a lot. Our writing at voiceofbedlam.com.
Good plug, John.
You know that. We've since inception we have been going a little crazy with the writing, and honestly, I'm gonna try to do it more, but I'm gonna try to average 3 to 4 a week. But go over there and make sure that you check out these articles because we're taking the time to create original content for you guys to enjoy. So
More
go over to
football for you guys to see
voiceofbedlam.com.
and read.
Absolutely. Go to voiceofbedlam.com, and guess what, guys? We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, any format or any platform. We're there. Type in Voice of Bedlam. Come check us out on Twitter. It's at Andrew Bedlam. Come check everything out. We're also looking for some experienced bloggers. And if you think you can meet our criteria, check out the site. Go to Become a Blogger and hit us up, staff at voiceofbedlam.com. Now, this is a great way to transition into Colin. And Colin, what was your 49ers post titled?
We got third time, maybe the charm for Chip Kelly. Actually, in reverse order. For Chip Kelly, third time, maybe the charm.
Man, everybody's dyslexic today.
Now, this is a new segment. We're implementing the article spotlight. Basically, we're just going to have Colin break down his article and tell us his thoughts on the matter. Take it away, Colin.
Well, I've really got to say, first and foremost, that writing this article truly broke my heart. Writing about, a former lover and how my former lover might actually be better off with their new significant other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
An ex-girlfriend.
yes. And I was all about Chip Kelly when he was hired. I was convinced this was the right thing
I
to do.
disagreed originally, but I was feeling it. I was feeling it towards like the midway, the halfway to like 2/3 through point.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going, though.
And kind of, I mean,
He hasn't
the
started.
guy stepped in here game one, and Sean, you remember, what did we put up, like 34 points in the first half against the Redskins?
Well, the end of that game ended up being 37-27.
Yeah, we let them
remember
come
that
back.
game. It jumped. It boosted the Eagles' Super Bowl probability in Vegas from like 30 something to 1 to like 7 to 1. It was crazy.
And I still
crazy.
believe, and Michael Vick was the quarterback that
Yes,
year. Michael
yes.
Vick, speed demon, extend the play, stretch the field with his legs, respect him, have a linebacker have to shadow him, that kind of weapon
And Colin
for Chip Kelly.
Kaepernick has those abilities.
But you
That's
have
exactly
to care
right.
About, you have to care about time of possession in the NFL. You absolutely
Chip
have
Kelly,
to.
yeah,
Look
Chip
at what
Kelly
you
does
just
not
said,
care about
how
time of
much
possession.
the
And
Redskins
And that might
almost
come
came
back to bite him.
Well,
It
I
almost
think
happened with
in
the
the-
Redskins. It almost happened with the Redskins. That's what happens
I
when you
think-
don't value time of possession.
But Colin Kaepernick is, other than Michael Vick, he's way younger than Michael Vick was at the time that Chip Kelly took over the Eagles. Colin Kaepernick rather is
he's Marcus
still-
Mariota with
he's still
Super Bowl
young.
experience
he's still young
and a few more surgeries.
and he's still young and he still has that ability. Michael Vick didn't have necessarily all the ability that he once when he had.
You
in,
guys
like,
didn't
2002.
protect him at all.
Yeah, and Colin Kaepernick isn't a Boy Scout. He doesn't seem to like to follow the rules. It seems like he has some trouble with some of the higher ups in the organization. So is pairing him with Chip Kelly really going to work out?
I think it's a two
I think
opposites
it
attract.
could. I think it could.
Two opposites attract.
Really? So you and Sean are on the same page?
Yes.
I think that they need each other right now, and I think that is the most important way to
Chip
look
Kelly
at this.
is the only guy in the league that could have taken over this San Francisco coaching job and revive Colin Kaepernick's career.
I think this is
Exactly.
gonna it's gonna be the complete opposite.
That? Has he ever proven that he could do that? Me and John are on the same
He
side.
revived.
He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose his job
Are you
in
talking
3
about Chip
years.
Kelly?
I
Are you
guarantee
Are you
you.
about
talking
Chip Kelly?
Colin or
He
Chip?
revived Michael Vick
He gets 3 seasons and
Mike,
he's
he didn't
done.
revive Michael Vick.
Yes, he
Michael
did.
Vick
He
won
made-
the
Yes, he
MVP.
did.
No, he didn't. Michael Vick revived himself, and then you guys, and
Chip
when I say
Kelly
you
runs-
guys, the Philadelphia Eagles
Kelly
did
runs a
not provide him with
quarterback-friendly
the amount of
offense.
protection that he
You know what?
needed to
You
be
know what Chip
productive.
Kelly did, guys?
He gets
You know what Chip
quarterbacks
Kelly
killed.
did? He made a terrible quarterback in Nick Foles throw for 27 touchdowns to 2 picks. That's
He
what Chip
definitely
Kelly's
did.
offense can do with a
Well, why
speed
did they
demon on
stick
the
with him?
outside
Why did
and
they stick with him?
Deshaun Jackson or Torrey
Because Jeffrey
Smith.
Lurie because Jeffrey Lurie gave Chip Kelly the keys to the castle,
Foles.
and Chip Kelly destroyed the team.
Yeah, but why?
And Chip
why
Kelly,
Foles?
I think, must have learned. He has
Because
to
Nick
learn
Foles
a
is not
lesson.
that good. That's why.
Yeah, but what about those
Nick
numbers?
Foles
Maybe
stinks.
he was a good. Maybe he fit well with Chip. Why'd they trade
Chip
him
Kelly
off
was,
to,
or
the Rams
Nick
for
Foles was
Bradford?
never a good fit for Chip Kelly's offense. Chip Kelly knew that.
I know, but I'm just saying, with a stat like that, with only having the 2 interceptions, I remember that's an NFL. Isn't it? He's like 3rd in the NFL record for something.
He
to do with
tied
that.
Peyton Manning with to start a season. He threw 19 straight touchdowns, and I was actually there at the Snow Bowl
The snowball.
against the Lions when he threw his first pick, and it was that was the end of the chance of beating Peyton's record. Yeah, no, Chip Kelly knows how to coach offense. The reason why his NFL offensive stats starting to decrease from years past, he went from third
Because
in
he
overall
got rid
points
of
from
Deshaun
5th
Jackson,
to
LaShawn
13th.
McCoy.
His
Evan
ego got in the
Mathis.
way. His ego got in the way, and
he
he
did-
no longer has the power to let
He's
that
not gonna
happen.
and
He
he's
has
not,
to answer
he's not
to
gonna
Trent
have
Baalke,
that power in San Francisco.
and that is going to let him focus on doing the one
Just-
thing that I
just
believe he's
coach
always done pretty
football.
well: coach
The-
the football team.
You know, you guys, you let him run rampant, and honestly, you have to have trust in your coach, especially when you're giving him the
Keys.
opportunity to bring in the talent and then develop the talent. So when you do that, you don't get that second opinion that everybody needs. It's like writing
Absolutely,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
writing a movie and not having a co-writer look over your stuff to make sure,
To bounce
oh,
things
hey,
off of.
hey, is that
Chip-
a good idea or
Chip
what?
Kelly definitely made some errors on
It was a dictatorship.
evaluating talent. There's no question about that.
So with that being said, even though he's taking a different route this time with the 49ers, I see him losing his job in 3 years. They're not going to give him the light of day for a 4th season.
But there's nowhere to go, and it's an interesting point. And 3 years is definitely if
I hear
Vegas
where
has
John's
lines on it
coming
right
from.
now,
I
that's
hear John-
probably two
as
and a
an
half is
Eagles
probably
fan,
over.
Already
or the-
seeing
the
what's
line.
happened, history is doomed to repeat itself. So that's definitely it's a possibility. But I think, Con, you were about to say there's nowhere to go but up in San Francisco.
Because he's
He took
predictable.
a 4-12 Eagles team and won 10 games the
All right.
very next year.
And
This
San
could
Francisco
be
was what,
faster than you
5-11
Okay.
last year. So they have nowhere to go but up, and they're in a tough division. He's gonna bring an energy to San Francisco that hasn't been there since the 49ers played in the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And in the NFL 2017 draft, the first overall pick goes to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, because
So you're saying next year the Niners are going to be the worst team in the NFL?
Yes,
'Cause
I am.
Most likely,
Kaepernick
yes.
That's not
will
a chance. Not a
Kaepernick
chance.
will
No,
not play ball.
not a chance.
Here's
Not
the
a
deal.
Now,
chance.
here's the thing. If Kaepernick doesn't come back and play this year, if he plays somewhere else, then my entire
he's already-
article is
What-
gone. It's
but-
worthless because
What do
he
you
needs that
think?
guy.
You think? But isn't he's under contract? He's going to stay a 49er.
Well, they can still trade him if some team works out
And I
how to
also-
fit
That
them
would.
into
I feel
their
like that would have been done
budget.
already. I mean,
But
there's
I-
still
I
training
agree.
camps and stuff.
When
I
I,
agree.
say he won't play ball, I mean he's not going to be part of Chip Kelly's system. He's going to be like
Who
DeMarco
is
Murray.
Blaine Gabbert?
That's what everybody's saying.
Yes.
What?
He's a
That's
better
what
fit for it.
everybody's saying.
Blaine
but-
Gabbert is under the impression that he's competing for the starting job.
Blaine
Colin
Gabbert
Kaepernick is still recovering
sucks.
from an injury.
Blaine
He
Gabbert
outplayed
is
Kaepernick.
terrible.
He outplayed Kaepernick.
Blaine
Yeah.
Gabbert sucks.
I
Yeah.
think everything that happened in San Francisco last year should be thrown out the window,
Now, when,
just like they did their head coach.
when we came into the show, we came up with the Clash Police on My Back. The reason why we came in with that, Colin, give me your little analogy here with the Clash. I believe you referenced Give Him Enough Rope and George Lucas. Why don't you tell me something about that?
All right. Well, the Clash and George Lucas apparently, after looking into it, have a lot in common. and Chip Kelly might be joining their ranks because the Clash's first album was their self-titled. It's a great album. They burst onto the scene. They became popular. Their second album, Given Enough Rope, it's pretty good. People liked it. It was critically well received. George Lucas's first album, or album,
Yeah,
George
album,
Lucas.
yeah.
I can imagine him playing right now the little Cantina song. All
Nice
right.
cleaner.
So
I
George
like
Lucas's
that.
first
Very
All you
funny.
directorial
Star Wars
movie.
nerds out there like me
Oh,
and
man.
Colin.
I'm really into it. Trust me, this was a fun one to write. Yeah, George Lucas's first movie was THX 1138, which a lot of other Star Wars nerds know. THX is actually his sound and engineering company now. His second movie, American Graffiti, big cult classic.
Yeah.
But both The Clash and George Lucas have made all of their millions, and the most revered work that they ever
London
have done
Calling?
was their third crack at it. The Clash's London Calling was their third album. George Lucas's third directorial movie. Maybe you've heard of it. Star Wars.
Perhaps.
I love
Chip
how
Kelly's
they tied
third
those
crack
three
at
together.
a
That's
head coaching
perfect.
job, if you
That's
include
perfect.
Oregon. Never won a championship, but
I don't
his Oregon
think-
Don't
Ducks.
give away too much of
honestly-
your article,
honestly-
Colin. Let
honestly-
everybody go on there and read it too. Don't give away
Check
too
it
much.
out,
of it.
guys.
All right, this is where
Definitely check it out.
This is where I get to be the a-hole again.
Go ahead.
Oregon does not count when you're talking about being a professional football coach. So if your third time's a charm's going to work, it's going to happen in 4 years when he has to look for another team.
I still think that NCAA head coaching job, especially like he put Oregon football on the map. Who in this country can say anything about what happened in Oregon football prior to 2009 and Chip Kelly?
Well, I watch a lot of college football, and let me just say, Oregon has always had the dopest uniforms ever.
Hate 'em. Yo, it's
Yeah,
I hate
I
them
bet
too.
they sure
They change
have.
their uniforms every single week.
It's
Oh, man.
ridiculous.
What, are
It
you
hurts
gonna
my
join- are you-
eyes. It hurts my eyes.
Hold on.
I
You
hate
know what?
'em. I
I'm
hate
gonna
'em
have to
too.
get a box of tissues for all your issues with these jerseys.
Jesus. Yo, it's funny that you say
The
that.
only team that ever had worse jerseys were the 80s, 90s Buccaneers uniforms.
Peach-
that
the
peach.
Peachmen.
Oh my God, those
What
those
about-
uniforms were disgusting.
What about Denver Broncos before the uniforms they currently have them orange?
I don't like that shade of orange.
I don't
That's
mind
like
that.
New York Mets.
You know what else I hated?
Ugh.
It was
Yeah.
before the Bills went to the white helmets and the jersey, the white jerseys or the blue jerseys they got now is that two
Red.
blue and the red with the stripes going down the helmet. I
like that
hate it.
better.
I hated
I
that
like
too.
better. But it's funny you're talking about the jerseys because Jessica, that's she is at Jessica. she's
Something.
Go over to at Andrew Bedlam and you'll find her. But
Or just go to voiceofbedlam.com because she's a
Another
contributor,
plug.
right?
It's at Jessica VOB. She's the editor over at the site. So if there's any clerical errors, blame her. Colin's also an editor, but she was
Colin
talking
does a
to
good job.
Carl Banks of the Giants, and he was on the first two Super Bowl teams.
Yeah, we're
But he
getting
was
Will
commenting-
Smith's cousin, man.
He was commenting on that's Carlton. That's Carlton.
Sorry, I said
Yeah,
it
man,
before.
Carlton.
I can't turn down a joke to make a joke,
But
or
he
can't
was-
turn down
Yeah.
an opportunity to make a joke.
Yeah, it was close.
He was
2 letters off, though.
he was commenting about
Three letters.
I still can't turn down the opportunity.
Who's counting?
It's really hard to get a word in here.
Good.
But
Oh, man. But no, yeah, Carl Banks
he
hit
was
you up.
commenting about what we were talking about last show, and I wanted to know what
jerseys.
do you guys feel about that? Because I hate seeing the Giants in an alternate uniform. What do you guys think about you guys like when the Eagles wear black?
When the
and stuff.
Eagles were all black, I'm so pumped up. With
What
the
about
all-
your
the all black
ugly
jerseys-
old uniforms that kind of look like Michigan State,
The
but
Kelly
like
Green was
bleached?
The Kelly Green I'm all right with. The Steagles, the blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
Colin, you remember the last
Oh,
time?
those were those
They're
were bad.
Yeah,
Those were
They're
atrocious.
atrocious. That's a good way to describe.
And you guys throw that.
But
You threw that back a bunch of times with
the all
McNabb.
black, the helmets with the black jerseys and the black pants, the blacked out end zones. I'm all for
So
it.
you guys like
I
this
get pumped
arena
because that
football,
happens.
though.
That happens once a year, and I'm always pumped up for it.
What do you think about? What do you guys think about the color rush crap? I hate it. When they change the
oh,
uni-
yeah,
uniforms to
yeah,
these neon colors.
Too gimmicky.
Yeah, it's
They're gonna do it once a
it's
week.
more.
Oh
and,
my
and
God.
who did they do it with? A couple. They did the Jaguars and like the
You know what?
It was
you
like
guys,
Jaguars versus the
Titans-
Chiefs, right? It was the hot dog bowl. It was just
I was gonna say
mustard
I
versus
was gonna
ketchup.
Say the Titans,
You know what you guys
I think the
sound
Titans
like?
did it last year too. It's yeah, Colin, you're right. It's a gimmick. It's just so. Hey, tune in to on Thursday Night Football to watch the Jaguars and the
stupider
Titans
uniforms.
and the Titans
More
play each
stupid.
other in ridiculously colored uniforms. And if you have epilepsy, don't watch because you're gonna go into a seizure.
yeah,
Worse than an episode of Pokemon.
you guys sound ridiculous right now. This is how I hear you. It's like you guys are turning down a nice, fully home-cooked meal for a microwave dinner. All right?
I
I want the bland
here's
mashed potatoes that taste like nothing, and I just want what I want every
Here's
single
the thing.
time.
If the Eagles did the color rush thing, we'd be wearing like all silver uniforms, and that would look so stupid.
See,
That's
I
exactly
like-
what they're doing. You know that, right?
Are
Yeah,
they
everything.
doing that? Is
Every
that-
team's doing color rush this
So-
season,
Giants
do
are
you,
gonna
wait,
be
do you know
red.
that
and the Eagles are going to be silver.
So
That's so
really?
stupid. See, stupid.
That's
dumb.
what I've
It's dumb.
read. I've
It's dumb.
confirmed.
Black, I'm okay with,
No,
but the
you're
silver.
yelling, dude.
I'm
Black
sorry.
is not a color; it's a shade.
All right, but silver, no. It's gonna look dumb. Are they
No.
gonna be wearing green helmets? Or are they gonna be wearing silver helmets?
I think they wear they probably wear a silver helmet.
I think the helmets match the unis.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand.
no.
Hold on.
no.
Do any of you appreciate art?
Sure.
Yeah, I do.
So then
Good
why
art.
are you complaining
No,
about bringing
no.
some
Think of it.
artistic approach to football?
Artistic, it's neon green half the time, and
Who
like,
cares? That looks
fuchsia.
awesome. Yo, that neon green
Colin,
on
do you know
those
who the
Seattle
Eagles?
Seahawks
Do you know who the
jerseys
Eagles are
awesome.
playing in that game this year?
I don't think
Yeah,
they've
that was-
released
yeah,
color
it
rush
was leaked.
schedules.
It was leaked. That's why.
Yeah,
there's
this
some
is
stuff
not.
about it,
Nothing
but
is
it's not
official,
yet.
I think.
But-
But just that the fact that they're all doing it
You're
is
talking-
official.
Does the Panthers' third jersey, the Carolina blue jerseys, I love those jerseys.
Love them, John.
I like
love
those too,
jerseys.
actually.
Best
I do
jerseys
like
in the
them.
league, in my opinion. Actually,
And-
Panthers.
So
And
what are the
especially
Pan-
when they wear the
but what are
black
the
pants on
Panthers-
that, it
Giants-
is just
What
a
are the
dope
Panthers'
uniform.
color rush jerseys? Are they gonna be all blue, or what are they gonna be?
Yeah, they'll probably do
They
the
should
all
do
blue
Jet
again.
Black Panther, man.
All right, so maybe it's this. Maybe
might be a
if the
little
color is
racist.
right,
They've already
if the,
done all black.
if the color is right, maybe it'll work for me. And if it's aesthetically not gonna like punch me in the face while I'm
It's
watching
that
football,
feng shui.
if it's not gonna punch me in the face while I'm watching
Yo, the
football,
last
I
Color
can
Rush
get
game I
down with
watched
it.
was
But
that
I don't
red
want to be
versus
watching
green.
football and go into an
Terrible.
epileptic seizure. And I don't even have epilepsy.
Yeah, the Bills Jets, I believe it was that when
Yes,
they did the
Bill
red and
Jets
green.
they
that
were the
was
first one,
terrible.
weren't they?
That was bad.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
it
That
that.
was the Christmas tree bowl.
Yeah,
That
the
was the
Christmas
first
tree
one.
bowl. Yeah.
That was terrible. But
But that's the only thing I'll agree with you guys because honestly, I like a change. I liked how Oregon University came out with different uniforms because it just kind of breaks up the monotony of seeing the same things all the time.
not me. I want a 1957 Gibson Les Paul. I want a 1969 Corvette with a T-top. I want
So,
that stuff. I don't want a new Honda Civic. I don't want a new Ibanez. I want a 57 Les Paul, a 69
Okay, so
Corvette. That's
Apparently,
that's what you need.
All right, guys, we're gonna start up a new GoFundMe so that we can exercise the 75-year-old that entered Andrew's body.
Yo, a 57 Les Paul is like $40,000.
I understand. And I agree, but I'm just saying, just based off of your recent comments and all, you sound like a 75-year-old man. Like, just give me my rice pudding and Jello at snack time.
Walking to school, uphill, both ways, no shoes
In the
on.
snow.
You kids don't know how good you got it.
I remember when I used to have penny candy.
All right, well, since we're a little off subject, that was a good
little.
article. Go over to
voiceofbedlam.com.
Check out Colin's article.
Before we get
'Cause it's a good one.
Before we get into the 4-minute hut, we're gonna rattle off some. Why do I hear a harmonica? We're gonna.
Sounds like a
you
car
play a
horn.
harmonica?
That's
That's a car
Philadelphia,
alarm.
guys.
That's
You
a
have to
car alarm.
understand. I live in a
Oh, it's
loud
a horn.
place.
It's a
Yeah,
horn.
yeah, it's a
All
horn.
right.
And it's a car alarm.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to read off some random snippets of news here. One of them I like. The NFL announces South Florida named host of Super Bowl 54 in 2020, and LA lands the Super Bowl for 2021. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to them in nice, warm, pretty climates as they always do. Can't wait till they have one in Vegas. But that's one thing.
Maybe happening.
Also, Tyler what's the Bengals?
Tyler Eifert.
Tyler Eifert. Yeah, he's gonna need surgery.
He
to
might
his
miss the whole
ankle,
season, they're
and
saying.
yeah, it's definitely putting the beginning of the season in question.
Wait,
Oh,
is it the
I'm
whole season or
sorry.
just the beginning of the
Well,
season?
Oh.
everything's in question,
Oh.
but
Okay,
definitely the
gotcha.
beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did they just lose a top target? Does that mean that I'm a little bit closer to predicting that the Bengals are falling off?
Yeah, you are saying that. You
All
are saying
right.
that. So you
Okay.
want
Yeah,
you're
they
saying the
still-
Ravens,
They
right?
still
In
got
the North?
AJ Green.
I said the Ravens. Oh, they got one receiver. You double him. Who else they got? All right, move along.
All
All
right,
right, all right, all right.
Sean. Why don't you explain to everybody what the 4-minute hut is today?
All right, so we're gonna get into the 4-minute hut.
4-minute hut.
4-minute what?
4-minute hut.
This 4-minute hut is all gonna be about cannabis.
Wow, you say it so
All right. So
uninformed. I'm
basically,
joking.
what
No, it's very informative. Cannabis. That's a very plain and simple topic.
You know, honestly,
What's the headline?
it's,
All right, well, the headline.
yeah, read the headline for us, bud.
The headline is.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sean
give me a second.
dropping the ball.
Give me a second.
I-
sorry.
And sometimes why?
As per ESPNGo.com, Eugene Monroe urges NFL to end marijuana ban and reduce use of opioids.
Yes.
Opiates.
Well, opioids.
Opioids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that,
hate
so
when
so
people
the
say that, but-
so basically, guys, the synthesized version of opiates. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So that is what painkillers are. And pretty much every time they're getting injured, this is what they're being given. Now, this is a chemical.
It's
You can become
synthesized from
addicted.
opium.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can become addicted. I mean, this would be in the same class as heroin. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
it's like heroin light.
Yeah, and not only that, with the emergence of all these trap music artists, like talking about taking Xannies and Oxys and drinking double cups of scissor,
Promethazine.
and it's like the culture of using the pills gets you hooked. And then once you can't afford those pills anymore, you go right to the street value and you get the actual heroin.
And this has happened. This has happened to NFL players before, especially in the 80s. I mean, there's plenty of drug addict
Correct.
players in the 80s. So basically, they're saying that, this could really, they're always saying they want to protect the safety of the player. Addiction is a pretty major issue.
That's
when
a
you
big
look at
thing.
these people like Victor Cruz, who have missed 2.5 years, or you know what I mean, a season and a half, like he's been probably taking a substantial amount of painkillers. Now, who knows what that's doing to his liver? Who knows if I'm not saying that. I'm just using this as a for instance, not backed up at all. But who's to say none of these players are developing a chemical dependence, and that would not happen with marijuana?
Monroe said the NFL relies heavily on opioids to get players back on the field as soon as possible, but studies have shown medical marijuana to be a much better solution.
Yeah, because there's no long-term
ESPN.go.com.
withdrawal, in the sense of cutting that out. Your brain has cannabinoid receptors that, is naturally produced. And when you're smoking it or using the oils or however your delivery method's going to be, you're opening up the floodgates for those cannabinoid receptors to receive, that. So, honestly, in this country, I know the facts that, and everybody can look it up. Henry Onslinger, he was the drug czar in the United States at the time. He clearly stated that he didn't want white women fornicating with black jazz musicians, smoking the weed.
You're talking
yes.
Reefer Madness time.
Correct. Reefer madness. And then not only that, at the time, the best cannabis was coming from Mexico. So that would have meant that money was getting into brown hands in their sense.
Yeah, so it was all built on racism. And then another thing also with the tree companies and the other oil companies.
Indeed. Our U.S. Constitution is printed on hemp paper.
Yeah.
If we used hemp instead of oil in our plastics, do you know that they would be 100% biodegradable?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is. 'Cause it's
Monroe-
all natural, unlike opiates.
Monroe went on to say medical marijuana, in brackets, is safer, less addictive, and can reduce opioid dependence.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And not only that, there's protein and stuff that you can get. There's hemp proteins, and they're awesome. There's a company. I don't want to plug them too much, but just real, they sell the supplement for working out and such, and it's hemp based, and it produces not only a natural result, but you're not putting so much harmful stuff into you. Like that's the terrible thing. They synthesized a drug to give you a drug, guys. That's what happened.
Absolutely, because it's okay to take drugs if the government makes money on it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but I did see
Sarcasm,
the other
if you didn't
day.
get that.
We're gonna get into the government making money on it too.
Yeah, well, yeah. The other day though, I did see, which it really threw me for. Well, it kind of like I patted my own back a little bit and was like, yeah, maybe society is addressing this issue. And it was a big billboard, and it had a pill bottle, and it said heroin, and it says know your drugs.
Absolutely.
And I was like, wow, wow, I applaud the company that, had the cojones, in a sense, to address this issue. Because
Synthetic heroin is still heroin.
Because indeed, and not only that, heroin has been, an epidemic in the suburbs, which usually everyone kind of thought of heroin as like a street drug in the cities.
Yeah, a lot of the suburbs.
Well, I mean, me, Colin, and Andrew. I don't know if John necessarily. We had a couple friends over the last couple
Yes,
of
most
years
definitely.
that have died because of heroin. Colin, I want to hear your take on this. We haven't heard from you in a while.
I just think it's funny how the NFL pushes their progressive doctrine on every subject except for this. What are they waiting for?
Mike, I have a question
This is
for you
gonna
too,
happen.
Colin. Colin, you're in Philadelphia, all right? We've obviously gone over that plenty of times. Philadelphia decriminalized everything up to a half ounce, if I'm
I think
correct.
it's a full ounce.
No, I thought
It's a full ounce, I believe.
It's a
I think
full
Andrew's
ounce?
right on that. It's a $25 fine and a slap
like
on the wrist.
loitering, yeah.
yeah, if you're caught loitering and smoking,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So
Yep, without the intent to distribute, it's no longer a criminal offense.
So-
I have a friend of a friend who actually is a very well-known organizer of marijuana-friendly events in the city, and everyone essentially pays. And I've never attended these. This is all from off the top of my head what I have heard from the friend of the guy. It's
Okay,
essentially
wow,
you
that's
pay
great
you
storytelling.
sign a paper and you donate X amount of dollars, which probably just pays for a fine if anything were to happen. And as long as the thing is in city limits, the police force, I don't even know, maybe they know about it,
they
and
don't
maybe
even-
they don't care. It is
because
not
they're going after the
important in the city.
heroin. They're going after the things that
And the
are
guns.
and
Are
the
dangerous.
guns. Yes, the dangerous things. Because for the longest time, the propaganda of saying that marijuana is dangerous for you is no longer happening because people.
It's definitely
no
been.
longer
But what
yeah.
the but the
marijuana.
the
Definitely
problem with
been
that
dumbed
is
down a
because
lot.
look, we were lied to for so long about marijuana that now we're certain people are going to be like, well, then I guess cocaine's not that bad either. I guess
No, that would be
heroin's
bad.
not that bad.
That would be bad.
What
Don't
do
do that.
No, you can now. Let's think about how simple some people can be, and you don't think
No.
that's happening?
But yeah, come on. No, DARE's not even covering marijuana anymore. Instead, they want to use alcohol as the gateway drug.
'Cause it
Their
is.
quote was saying they want
Anytime
to
I've
deal
ever done something stupid, alcohol was involved.
with things that are more serious. But as a whole, now.
But if alcohol is legal, then why isn't marijuana
well,
like?
because of what me and John were just talking about.
Well,
because the-
and
the
then we're
hands,
gonna
I just
pose an
told you
argument
why.
to this. We're gonna
But,
pose an
yeah.
argument to that.
but no, but
I'm just
saying-
speaking rhetorically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically, I think marijuana is going to be legal in the whole country. Medical marijuana is about to be legal in Pennsylvania. It'll be legal within like the next 7 months or something like that. And the reason why, now call me a cynic, but everything revolves around money. And there are billions to be made in this. And that's all the government really cares about. And then the NFL will have to comply with it. Sean, give me some Colorado numbers.
Well, just real quick, Monroe also said that he points out that the NFL and the NFL Players Association ban the use of marijuana, but he says it's time for that stance to come to an end, and he's pushing for the league to remove marijuana from banned substances, to fund marijuana research, especially as it relates to brain disease, CTE, a big hot topic in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And to stop
Marijuana is great for brain
and to
problems.
stop over prescribing addictive and harmful opioids. So, I mean, he's got a big point there. Now, going into our next,
Now that's
what
Eugene
Andrew
Monroe, tackle for the Ravens.
what Andrew was saying, tax dollars, revenue. Colorado, who I think was the second state to legalize recreational marijuana use.
So you can smoke marijuana.
You can
like
go to
buying
you can go to
cigarettes,
you can go
alcohol.
to where the Super Bowl
Yes.
champion Denver Broncos play at, and you can buy a pack of joints. And you know how much money that made in last year, 2015. Colorado marijuana sales skyrocket to more than $996 million. That's
And
almost
that's-
$1 billion.
That's where it mostly being illegal still. So imagine when this is legal, they're going to jump on this in a heartbeat. All anybody cares about is making money, and they can put a positive spin on it all they want. Marijuana will be legal in the United States because people stand to make a lot of money, and then the NFL will have to comply, and I do think it is for the good.
And in Washington, the first state to legalize
How much they get
recreation,
off tax dollars?
$70 million.
Off taxes. On it.
Off tax,
So,
just
you know,
so that's not even the revenue made off of marijuana sales. That's just what the
tax.
government took off people buying marijuana
Yeah,
for
what the government
recreational use.
stole from local
Yes,
business
yes,
owners.
yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, a lot of these states, it could be in a bracket where income tax doesn't need to be collected.
Well, income tax is going to be going away
Oh.
along with Social Security.
So, with that being said, then you know what? There's another, and I'm gonna, call me you can call me the devil himself, but you know what? Churches
Devil John.
and organizations need to be taxed as well. Tax-free exempt status for those institutions have been a little bit too far. Overly used, and because think about it like this:
So what you're
There was
saying,
a-
they're
there-
going to be like a church?
there's a lot of
No,
posts
he's
that I
saying
saw
that churches shouldn't be a 501c3.
Tax exempt.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Correct.
totally agree there.
because think about who pulls up in the Mercedes to the church, the pastor.
Pastor.
Who's pulling up in
Who's
the
living in
in
a
the
big-
beat
in the big house?
beat up
Yeah,
'96
it's not
Corolla
always
with
like
a
that.
duct tape window?
Who?
The patron.
Yeah.
That's paying.
That's not always like that, though. I mean, I'm going to agree
He's
with.
got a
I see
point
what you're
there,
saying
like-
there, but there are plenty.
In specific churches,
of
And not
poor
only
churches.
that,
we're not talking about the
that-
dude that's on the 700 club. I mean, there's plenty of churches
What?
around the
there-
block.
Oh, please.
the
There's
700 Club is
churches
the worst of it.
I'm not talking
there's,
about people
there's,
like
there's
that.
one. There's
I'm
one.
they are the worst
There's
of it.
one right over here. All right, and I won't mention its name because I'm not gonna cause any problems. But there's a church that's right across the street that they do 2 different services with big screen TVs, and they're passing around that collection plate 2 to 3 times.
Yeah. Oh no, you're talking
And they're
about the
pulling up.
taxes.
They're pulling up in the nice fancy brand new Volvo off the lot.
No,
or
that's not true.
the Audi.
That's
you,
not true.
you
I
wanna-
know plenty of pastors. That is not true. I mean, it
They're
is
definitely
in some
out
You want
there,
to
though.
take a trip
Yes,
across
they are.
the take a
Yes,
trip
they
across the
are
river
out
there.
And that's because churches are tax exempt.
Exactly. So the fact that happens, why can't
If
ordinary
we're all
citizens?
getting taxed,
It's
tax
the same.
the churches.
It's the
then,
same
too.
thing. That's what's wrong with the bank. The bank will give you
And
a
the-
loan,
and the bank-
right? But the bank will collect 10%. Correct? They'll collect 10% of what you need down for the loan. That 10% is going to the reserve in order to create the money to give you that loan.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah, there's not
there's
the
no
bank doesn't
there's no
have all that
financial
money.
risk anymore with the banks taking a loan from you because they're using your own money to gamble on you and make money off of you off of interest.
But that's how the stock market.
I
works.
want to hear. Sorry, I just want to hear what Colin has to say. Are you done? Are,
am
you got
I
any more,
done?
John?
Yeah, I just honestly think that
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, but we're talking about economic stresses and things, but it's not it's not an equal playing field when it
No,
comes
it's
to
not.
and the fact that if everybody wants to talk about right and wrong and oh well I deserve this, I deserve that. No, if you want to be normal and you want to consider yourself normal, then there needs to be a flat understanding of what people get. And I know that sounds very Marxist and it sounds very communist of a statement, but take it. I don't care.
We're not afraid to talk about anything here, but if you want to hear us talk some more,
Wait. I wanted to hear what Colin had to
Yeah,
say.
Colin,
Colin,
Colin, what are you
hasn't talked in
thinking?
Like
I'm
5
sorry.
minutes, 10 minutes.
I mean, as far as the nonprofit sector and who gets taxed and who doesn't,
'Cause
like
the
I work
NFL
for a
fell into that.
nonprofit here in the city, and I don't know what we do differently that puts us any different from any other organization or what a church does that's similar and fair practices just like we perform here. I really don't know enough on the subject to have a strong opinion one way or the other. I certainly have an issue with the 700 clubs of the world because how can
That's
you
different. Yeah, I agree.
promote? Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is
We need a new
we,
jetliner for
we
the name
should
of
always.
Jesus.
South Park.
I'm
We
so
need an
against the
outlaw.
extremism of almost anything. If
We
you're
need
if you're far
photon
right, you're
lasers
far left, or you're
to spread
extremely
the word
rich.
of God.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, isn't there something better that you could be watching on a Sunday? Oh wait, yeah, the NFL.
There you go.
But and honestly, football should be a religion at this point because you know how many
It
people
basically
get in
is.
trouble by their pastors. For watching football because they got drug out to the late service.
All right, guys. If you want to hear more from us, you're going to have to tune in on Thursday. We'll have the same show going. I don't think Colin will be here showing. You going to be here Thursday?
With me working late every day from now until Kingdom Come, I want to be here for at least
Diapers
once a
ain't
week.
cheap.
Diapers ain't cheap, and I need to make that overtime. Plus, I need to spend time with my family. I want to be here, but my number one priority is at home. So don't miss me too much because I'm not going anywhere. I just might not be here every Thursday for a while.
Good, it'll be less stinky.
No, I'm
I'm
sweating
switching.
like a pig.
Dude,
Yo,
it's
we
so
lost video.
It's so hot.
We lost
It's
video,
so hot.
so nobody could see us. But I'm sitting here in like,
Yeah.
in like
With your
sweatpants,
pulled up Robin Williams
to my
starter kit over
crotch
here.
with no shirt on. I'm sweating to death.
We're
Thank
all
God the
sweating.
video went out.
Colin's
Yo,
probably
dude,
sitting
like-
there in Philly and
You
he's
guys are
pissed.
gross. I'm in an air-conditioned bedroom.
Yeah, well,
Feels
suck
great.
it, Colin.
Oh,
All right, guys. But thanks
know-
for downloading. Check out voiceofbedlam.com. Check us out on Twitter. Go over to become a contributor. See if you got what it takes.
voiceofbedlam.com.
Go
The Bedlam
check us
team.
out.
Check out all the articles, Instagram, Facebook, facebook.com/VOBpod. Yeah, check us out, guys.
Hashtag VOB pod everywhere, guys. Spread
Let's take
the
it
word.
Let's take
All
it
right,
down.
we'll catch you guys later. See you Thursday.
Peace.
Stupid,